Welcome to Ingram Micro's award-winning podcast, B2B Tech Talk, where we deliver insights into the trends, innovations, and technologies driving the B2B tech world forward. With each episode, our goal is to inspire you to expand horizons, forge new paths to growth, discover the benefits of new technologies, and provide insight into how you can achieve the highest customer satisfaction along the way. On today's show, I'm honored to introduce my next returning guest, AnnMarie Santamarina. AnnMarie brings her wealth of channel expertise and unique insights to the conversation today. AnnMarie is known for her deep understanding of the channel, and she has been a driving force in helping businesses unlock their potential through innovative consulting and coaching strategies. She's an entrepreneur, consultant, coach, speaker, a fierce supporter of women in tech, and author of From Survival to Safety. I have my very good friend, AnnMarie Santamarina, back on B2B Tech Talk today. I am thrilled to have you on the show again.
Nina, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we're here at Ingram Micro 1. How has it been going?
It's amazing. I always think that when I'm coming in, I'm kind of like, oh, I know how it's going to be. And then I'm just always blown away. It never fails to exceed my expectations.
So what's the vibe? What's the feeling here?
Well, first of all, everything X.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Trust
Yeah.
X,
Yeah.
Xvantage,
Yep.
Expand. It's all about the
Yep.
X's in a good way, right?
Yep.
So the vibe is high energy, lots of promise for the future, really like great things to come.
Awesome. Last time we were here, we talked about your book, from from survival to safety. How's it been going?
Well, I've got to say that the title is kind of a little bit of a vibe for my life because I realized how much I was living in survival and operating from a place of survival. And it's really great to share that I feel a lot safer in my own skin, kind of in my choices in my life and my career. So it's going really well. And I'm excited to share that we're going to be giving away copies at my breakfast. I'm doing the women's breakfast tomorrow, and Ingram is giving a copy to everybody that comes to the breakfast.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. So just so everyone, our audience knows, where can they get the book?
Oh, so it's available on Amazon.
Okay, great.
From Survival to Safety,
Yep.
AnnMarie Santamarina.
Yep.
So it's there. And if you read it, I'd ask that you leave a review because it's really great to have those.
Oh, absolutely. And I know your friends and your friend family here at Ingram Micro they kind of shepherded you through the process. What was that like?
I don't know. I can't remember if I shared this with you before, but when I was making the kind of post-sell decision about what I was going to do after selling my tech company, I was a little unsure of what that was going to look like. And I knew I was going to write a book. I didn't know when that was going to happen. And I was going to write a book about something else, which I think we've talked about in the past. But I ended up writing this memoir and thinking, well, how's this going to fit into my professional world? And what I realized and what I kind of learned through the process is I love that you said friends and family, because I really do have a family here at Ingram. And I did a pre-sale on the book, and there was so much incredible support. And then one of the things that my editor told me is it's one thing to get people to buy the book. It's another thing to get them to read it. And I got phone calls from people like Darren Gottesman saying, I just got off a plane and I finished your book. And I think he sent me a text of something like, you're really strong. I knew you were strong, but after reading your book, I really see how strong you are. And that just meant the world to me.
Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so entrepreneur, author, coach, um, connections expert. Maybe it might be better or easier for me to ask you, what is it that you don't do?
Well, I don't install servers. I don't program anything. I really love the people side of the business. That's what it's always been for me. And at first, when I got into technology, I probably had a little bit of like an identity pause, like, what am I doing? Do I belong here? I'm not technical. And I've also learned to stop saying that because I am technical, right? I work in technology. But the people, the relationships, the partnerships that I've been able to cultivate and create and attract. I mean, I don't take all the credit, right? I just happen to be really
Oh no,
lucky.
you're really good at it. I mean,
Thank you.
I will tell you, if you ever want to learn about how to connect with people, get in touch with AnnMarie. You are masterful, really masterful at it.
Thank you, Nina. That means a lot to me.
So, full disclosure, Anne, AnnMarie and I talk every week, at least once every week. And when women come together, we can do amazing things. Talk to us about your work with women in Trust X, and then we'll go into some of the things we're doing together.
I love that. So when I was sharing about the book and kind of this like pause of, well, what's my next career move? I knew I wanted a coach. I had a lot of success in working with coaches myself. So I knew the value and the benefit and what it did for me, as a business owner, as a female executive, and just as a person, right? Even in my personal relationships, the value of understanding myself at a deeper level. And then I thought for like a minute that I was going to have to change, like go find a new network. And a good friend, in this community said, but this is your network, this
Yeah,
is your
yeah.
community. And I have had the privilege of being a client and, on the Trust X Alliance side, being an Ingram Micro client, being a member of the community. And I really missed it. And so I came back in kind of a facilitation role. And then I started to talk to Holly and some of the people on the team. And I said, it'd be really great if we had a women's program like that. I think it would be really meaningful. And so we launched it last year. Probably when I saw you last year, I had either just had a breakfast in Nashville.
Yes, that's right.
But we come together monthly. And it's really a space to just talk about the challenges that we face as women. And I think last time we spoke, we talked a little bit about equalizing the conversation, right? Bringing the men in.
I
So
love that, by the way.
thank you. I remember you were really
Yeah.
excited about
Yep.
that phrase.
Yep.
But even beyond like Trust X Alliance, like that's a great and incredible community. But across the board, like even though there are a lot of women's organizations in IT, I feel that there's a little bit of a piece missing, like maybe that deeper level. Like, yes, you can go to a big event and there might be a woman who shares on the stage about her own experience, which is very important and very meaningful. But how do we action it? Like, what do we do kind of beyond that? How can we support each other? So that's something that's incredibly near and dear to my heart. And one of the reasons why I was so excited when you shared that you also were going to be coaching,
Yes.
because I just see such an incredible opportunity. I want to work with other people, and when they're women, even better, to really bring this out into the world.
And when you collaborate in the way that we're collaborating and putting together a program for 2025 to offer to women in this space, I mean, we've talked to a lot of women here over the past couple of days, and there's a recurring theme. There's a recurring theme, and you men are really great about uh, it's almost like it's natural for them to accept progression and to go after it because that's part of their evolution as men. Women tend not to do it because I can't do it because of the kids. I can't do it. They'll come up with lots of excuses and then not knowing how to negotiate their way forward. So again, they'll make excuses. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. And they allow themselves to be small. And I just want to help women break through. That's a myth. They don't have to be that way. And they can have what they want and they can have a family and they don't have to put themselves in a box. But that's been a bit of a recurring theme since I've been here talking to various women. What are you hearing?
Everything you've just said. And I think sometimes there's a belief that we have to trade off,
Yep.
And I get it. I don't know if it was Michelle Obama who said, we can have it all, just not at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think that, there's just been a platform that's been laid. And it's not, I'm not blaming anybody. It's certainly not the men's fault.
Right. No, of
I
course.
just think even as children, right, we're sort of given a different set of like rules.
Yep.
And if you want to, kind of deviate from those rules, I have I don't know if this is appropriate, but I'm going to share it real quick. I live in a building,
Uh-huh.
and my next door neighbor, they were out on the balcony, and I could hear them, and they have a young grandson, and he said, "I want to be a ballerina," and his grandmother said, "No," and she said his name.
Yeah.
I went, "Boys aren't ballerinas." And is it Mikhail? What's his name? Verishnikov? I don't
Yeah,
know.
Baryshnikov.
Yeah, he's a ballerina.
Yeah.
And I had to go inside. I was really upset. And
Oh.
I didn't want to judge. I get
Yep.
it. That was her
Yep.
comfort zone. But it was such a reminder to me to be really mindful of
Yep.
what we say, to our kids, our nieces and nephews, anybody, that we're impacting. And I know there were a lot of things that was said to me as I was growing up
Yep.
that made me believe that certain things were off limits
Yep.
to me. And when I wanted them, it was like, well, oh, you're too big for your britches. And it's like, well, no. Why can't I aspire to all these things? The only limits that we have are the ones that we allow ourselves to believe.
Isn't that the truth? We can always, it doesn't matter where you are and what stage you are in your life, you can always reinvent yourself. You can always pursue the things that you want to pursue. And sometimes waiting for those things until later, until the timing is right. Right? You mentioned what Michelle Obama said, you can't have it just all at the same time. Sometimes it's a timing thing. And that's when big magic happens, right? And I love that. If you haven't read the book Big Magic, you should. It's an amazing book after you read AnnMarie's book. So what's next for you?
Lots of really great things. So I am going to start working on the next book.
Okay,
which
great.
is going to be about being a woman, a woman
Right.
CEO in IT. I really want to get the perspective of other women. So if you're watching this and you want to be in the book, please reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'm planning on calling it CEO, Clear Envisioned Outcomes.
Oh, nice.
Because I think that's another piece of the puzzle, Nina, is that so I got to do a presentation with Cheryl Rang a couple of weeks ago for Women of the Trust X. And she talked about this 10-year plan that she's created for herself because one of her bosses asked her, well, what's your 10-year plan? And she's like, I didn't really have one. So she created like a personal business plan. And we had a great conversation with the group. And a couple of the women were like, I don't even know where I would start. And that really kind of resonated with me that we don't take the time to kind of sit down and plan out what we want to do. And some of it may be because we don't think we're worthy, or we've got a limiting belief, or we think there's no time, or whatever the story we want to attach to it. So I want to help clear the field there.
Yeah.
So the book, you just alluded to, we are launching a coaching cohort, a leadership coaching cohort to help women in leadership, or that aspire to be in leadership. By the way, another really good book, Wolfpack by Abby Wambach. So she talks about everybody's a leader. Like, you don't need to manage people to be a leader. Right. And leadership is, she doesn't say it's a privilege. There's something else that she says, but basically, like, if you think like a leader and lead on what you're responsible for in your life, that's a tenet that I really can attach to. And then retreats. I'm doing my first retreat in Vermont on the new year, January 2nd to the 5th. There's still some spots available. I don't know when this is going live, but and it's going to be up in a place in Vermont, this quaint little bed and breakfast. And I really want to just bring people together who want to be a little bit more intentional in their lives.
It's a good time of year, beginning of the year, kind of set the foundation for and set not just the foundation, the intention for what the year is going to be like. And so if anybody wants to learn about that, it's Connect with AnnMarie. Is that where they go? Okay, fantastic. We've got, a day and a half left of this event. What do you hope to accomplish for the rest of the time that we're here?
We've only been here for a day and a half, right? I felt like yesterday was 3 weeks long.
This has been a year and 2 days.
So what I hope to accomplish is to keep connecting. Engaging, seeing old friends, making new friends, And tomorrow's breakfast is going to be with Ashley Davis from
Yep.
Microsoft. And we're going to talk about values
Uh-huh.
and building your personal business plan
Oh, I love it.
and challenges that we face in the industry. And so I really want to just drive value and bring connection for that breakfast as well.
That is awesome. It is always so great to catch up with you and to hear all the things that you're doing and all the things that we get to do together. I'm absolutely honored, and our relationship actually began at this desk. And I will just tell you that was such a gift for me to have you as part of my tribe, part of my circle of friends. And I'm grateful that it happened here at Ingram Micro. So thank you, AnnMarie. I love you to pieces. And thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, Nina. And thank you to Ingram Micro for everything. I'm really grateful to be here.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of B2B Tech Talk. Let's keep the conversation going by following Ingram Micro on social media using hashtag B2B Tech Talk.